KILR Killer Games.
Hello gamers, simmers, and pilots. I am the Killer Gamer, and welcome to my tour. It's called a world tour, although we won't be able to travel around the whole world. But we're on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2. So our travels will be limited, but we will try to follow the same flight that we're doing on the other simulators as much as we possibly can. We will get through the continental United States, though. Most of it. Not all of it's covered. Alright, so what are we doing and where are we going? Well, let's go ahead and talk about that. We'll Okay, so here we are, Clow International, and we're going to be going here to Lansing Municipal. So, what is the best way for us to get over there? How are we going to do it? Well, if we tune into Chicago Heights and do it at, let's say, a vector of, let's see, that's 21010. Maybe we should do it a little further. I don't know. That might work. I don't know. Let's do 3. We'll do 360. And if we take... Which one's this here? Joliet at a vector of... Let's see. That's 90 there. 8. We'll say 084. That should kind of put us... Hopefully... No, that'll bring us out. And this one takes us this way. It's like frustrating. Well, yeah, we'll just say 084. We'll find it. Especially when the needles cross. When the needle for this one crosses the needle for this one, probably right around there, we should be able to see the airport. Alright. Let's get down to business here. Let's see. Joliet 112.3, which is already tuned in for us on nav 2. So we'll set that at 0. Whoops, wrong mouse button. 084. All right. So. Yeah. So basically, if we go south, we'll be able to catch this radio here. So, Lansing, or basically Chicago Heights, is 114.2. There we go. 27 miles. It's going to be a little bit less than that, because the Chicago Heights VOR's a little bit away from Lansing. Man, that seems not that far. And it seems like I remember it being further than that on the Commodore 64. And I was mentioning this in the last flight, that it seems like we're getting to airports a lot quicker than... They're all at the same XY coordinates, though, so... I don't know. VOR. We were doing 360. Zoo. Okay. Or 360 or 0. Okay. I think we are set to go. We're already facing south, so let's turn around. Do F3 to bring our throttle up. Our numerical keypad here. 6 is getting us to turn to the right as 5 stops it. We got these crazy thing going on. So you may be wondering, okay, what's got me, what's laughing in the background? Apparently what I'm saying is funny. What is the driving motivation for me to do this? Well, what I'm doing, it kind of started with FSX and Orbix, because I did a video which was in Washington State. I can't remember the airports offhand, but I started with that, and I did a kind of a documentary thing at the same time. We didn't really do a documentary, sorry. It was kind of like I started off where I was at a manufactured home. I was kind of staying there, and then we did this little road trip to the airport, and then we flew from that airport to another one, and then we got in the car and drove into town for, I don't know, lunch or something like that. And the driving was using Google Maps, and there's a program that can put together an animation to do that, which I stopped using. But I was going to continue with that, and then I thought to myself, it was after that I got X-Plane, because I've been thinking about X-Plane for the longest time, and X-Plane 11 was beginning to look kind of what I wanted. And so with X-Plane, naturally, I wanted to try going around the world with it. And FSX, I was planning on doing that anyway. So I decided to kind of start over. And since Orbix had Merrill C. Meigs Airport, a special one, I got that for X-Plane, and I was able to get it for half price for FSX, because you get a discount for a cross-platform thing. And so I figured, okay, we'll just start where you normally would start, at Merrill C. Meigs, and I'll travel and have both follow the same flight plan. And then I thought about the old simulators and having them doing the same thing to help bring back those memories, because I traveled around the world with Flight Simulator 5 and Flight Simulator 98. And with the Commodore 64, I did a cross-country flight. So I wanted to bring back those memories and also share them with all of you. Because when these were out, there was no such thing as a Let's Play. You know, people weren't able to make videos of it. We didn't really have the technology to sit there and make actual videos of the screen. And for that matter, there wasn't a YouTube. So here we are. That is the motivation. And now I'm motivated to go full throttle so we can take off. But as far as the documentary is concerned, that I'm doing on X-Plane. And so what's different there is each airport that we land at, we'll check out the real airport, the actual airport, compare it to what's in X-Plane, and likely if you watch the FSX, you can see how it compares there also. And then we'll drive into town, and I'll pick some places for us to go, whether it's a restaurant or a museum or, you know, anything like that. So basically, if I were to actually fly to this location, what would I do? So that's what I look at. We drive into town. Again, I use Google Maps, but I don't use that road trip animation program because it's kind of choppy. I don't really like it. So I actually go, and as you're moving through Google Maps, first I film it, and then I go back and I take screenshots every step of the way, and then put them together as an animation. It looks a lot better. Is it work? Yeah. It does take work. But it looks great. And I put it together like a documentary. So I've got, you know, a little bit of music, and I add sound effects into it. So when we're out by the street, you hear cars passing by. When we're in a museum, you can hear some chatter and talking, people walking. Inside of a restaurant or cafe, you have those sound effects. So, you know, I try to add some ambience to it. Now, why did I decide to do it on X-Plane rather than FSX? Well, one, X-Plane is a next generation, and that's been out for a while, but it's, compared to FSX, it's taken flight simulation to a whole new level. I mean, it's not perfect, no, but the technology is definitely better than FSX. FSX is just running off of an old engine. Just look at the videos that I have on this channel. Compare Flight Simulator 2002, 2004, and FSX, and you will see similarities between them. X-Plane, there's no similarity. There is definitely a difference, especially with like ground traffic. With cars, I mean, there's actual roads, there's actual highways that the cars are driving on. It was one of the things that attracted me to X-Plane, and it's really cool. It is really cool looking, instead of, you know, just this faded brown pathway that the little cars are going on. And the ortho photos, the satellite imagery, with overlays on top of that. So you've got 3D models, and there's a lot of what do you want to call it? Oh, autogen. So auto-generated buildings that helps populate out residential areas and things. That, along with the satellite imagery, really makes X-Plane look fantastic. And I've got the Orbix scenery, so I've got the Orbix overhaul with it. So I've got the global FTX and land class and vector. So I jazzed up FSX in that manner, and hey, it looks great. It really looks nice. But with the X-Plane, with the satellite imagery and the 3D buildings, it gives a nice impression of what it actually looks like to fly to these places. And that's a neat thing for me, because when I'm flying with all these simulators, when I get to the X-Plane, it's kind of like the cherry on top. It's the reward. It's like, oh, wow, this is what it looks like. And since it's got more of a realism to it, that's why I do the documentary on that one. It just seems to bring everything together, and plus it makes the X-Plane series more unique compared to the other simulators where we're just kind of having fun. So like these old simulators, we're just having fun with them. Think of them as toys that we're bringing along on the trip, the world trip. This airport in front of us is Lewis University. Man, looks like we're getting awfully close. Oh, we'll be passing it. That's right. So we're going to be passing Lewis University, which we are going to be landing at, not now, but the route that we're taking is going to take us west, and we'll be crossing over the Mississippi into Iowa a little bit, and then we'll be coming back. Unfortunately, we won't be able to follow the other simulators. They will be going up into Wisconsin and Minnesota and Michigan, up into Canada and around, and eventually work its way back to Illinois. And our needle is moving, so it's time to start moving our way back. That may not be Lewis. That might be Joliet Park that we're looking at. I think that's Lewis right there. And this gray thing is a city, in case you're wondering. This represents a city. So yeah, we'll be working our way back through Illinois, coming back down south, and we'll hit Lewis University on the way back before we start going east. We'll be heading east. And we'll go to the my plan is to head through Ohio, back up into Canada, back down, and then into Pennsylvania. We'll go into Maryland and hit Washington, D.C., and then we'll go up through New York and just curving all the way up through Vermont and Maine, and that's where we'll be stopping with this simulator. Assuming I can get the scenery disc to work, at least with the Commodore 64. And the Amiga for that matter, because it does have scenery disc 12. That's what covers that northeastern area. Because then the later simulators will be going into Greenland, Iceland, down through England, and Europe, and we'll work through the Middle East and around to Africa, go through that, and then back across the Atlantic into South America, back up. We'll hit the islands, Mexico, Central America, and then work through the southern part of the United States. Until we get to Florida, and then we'll be able to pick up with Flight Simulator 1. I don't know if it has scenery just for 1, but 1, 2, and 3, because they won't have that world coverage. But yeah, we'll pick it up with that. Go through the rest of the East Coast, head west, and we'll finish up the rest of the United States, cross over the ocean, hit Hawaii, which I'm talking about Flight Simulator 2, because there's a Hawaiian Odyssey that is available for this, and then head into Japan and hit everything on the like Russia and China and Asia, that Australia, that area there, which we can't do on this, but we'll work our way up to Alaska, back down through Canada, and work our way back east, and the last stop that we'll make will be Merle Sea Megs. How long is this going to take? Several years. It's going to take a while, because I'm not doing this flight by leaps and bounds. We're going to be exploring through states, countries, continents, just every little area that we can possibly explore. This is going to be my lifetime achievement. And by the time I'm done, I will probably be close to 60 years old. Hopefully my vision's not gone by then. We've passed our vector. I wasn't paying attention. Not that much, though. Not that much. That should do it. We don't have much speed, though, do we? Let's bring our pitch down. I'm like, did this thing freeze? But the time is still going. And I just saw the needle move, so... Boy, that didn't bring our speed up. Let's see if that does the trick. Oh, the flaps. That's why we're having trouble. Okay. Okay, flaps are all the way up. There we go. Now we're getting speed. Gaining an altitude also. If I can get us leveled off. Okay, that airport up ahead is Howell. That is going to be Howell. Go and show you on the map here. So, right here. So if we're down here, if we're along here, then that's going to be how. So, right over here. Which means I think we're going to want to turn. Let's do a radio of 90. Because Lansing is going to be down over here. If we follow this line, this road, it may actually take us to Lansing, or at least in the general direction. We are still going up. I don't want that. I don't want to go down that far either. Come on, baby, turn. Turn! Okay, that should be good. Okay, so I've been collecting from something that was from a former pilot that did a lot of flight simulation. Unfortunately, he passed away, but I've been working out a deal with his daughter to inherit his collection of maps, and he's got stuff all over the world, which is perfect for this series. Absolutely perfect. This here is South America, countries A through E. So in here, he's got Argentina, Brazil, Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador. And if you take a look, so he's got an actual map. Oh wow, I wonder what this is. This looks like something of an actual city there, if you can see that. Let's see. Oh, it seems to be stuck there. He's got a list of, I think, the folders for the files, the scenery files that he was using. But check this out. He's got approach charts, and several for each of these, and plus he's got like charts of the airport. Here's another chart. I mean, how sweet is that? And apparently this kind of fell out of the hole here. That looks like both of those things did. These things are like, man, this collection is a treasure for me. An absolute treasure. Okay, that one doesn't have any hole punches to it. And let's see what else I got here. So here's South America, countries F through V. And then Central America. Italy, with the islands of Corsica and Sardinia. Scandinavian. And I have no idea. This one doesn't have a label on it. That looks like Lansing. It looks like we've got New Zealand, North Island. Yeah, that's North Zealand is what that is. And oh, I have a lot more than that. And I still don't have the full collection. This guy's got like 30 some binders. I've cleared off a shelf here so I can start putting these binders up. So I got like all of Canada. I've got some of the states. I got Illinois. Let's get our flaps down here. Start our descent. Europe. I've got Europe. The Caribbean islands. And so with these maps, it's going to give me ideas of airports to actually go to. And it's just weird how the timing of all this worked out. I was busy collecting scenery for Flight Simulator 4, 2004. I was getting the Mega Scenery discs for 2004, and I got them all now. They don't have it for every state, but I got what they had because I try to do something different with each of the simulators. Flight Simulator 2004 is using F-Scene, but I wanted to do the satellite imagery for some of the areas. Oh, let's get our landing gear down, that might help. And when I was collecting those, I got Dallas, Fort Worth, and I was getting Phoenix as well. And it was from this woman, daughter of the pilot. And for Dallas and for Phoenix, I got the binders for them. And when she told me she had other binders, I mean, I just decided that I just decided to go ahead and work out a deal with her to get the remainder of the binders. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get California. She had sold that one with whatever scenery came with it. But I'm getting everything else. And so with this, and traveling around the world, the timing of it couldn't have been better. Kind of makes me, believe in, things that are meant to be. Now it seems weird, but it almost seems like what I'm doing was just, it's meant to be. I'm meant to actually do this. And for me, I mean, yeah, I'm doing this for the fun of it, but I'm hoping that even if there's just one person out there that has been looking for something like this and really get something out of it, then that's cool. We are, whoops, headed up. We want to go down. These videos are not monetized. I do this for fun. Not that way. I want to line up with the runway. Go the other way. That's not it. I think that's Sanger. That's not Lansing. No, it has to be. It's too... Lansing does have 2 runways, but one of them is grass. Let's bring up our map. No. Crap, I don't know. Yeah, that's it. The needle on the top is heading down. Bring it on down. Come on. Just be careful of our speed here. Come on. Let's land on the runway. Land on the runway. Come on. Not at an angle. Come on. Come on, not that way. Come on. Really? You saw that, right? I was actually lined up. I was lined up, and even the horizon line was straight, and it just went, or for you, it went this way. It's the annoying thing about the old Flight Simulator 2, whether, you know, this is going to be pretty much the same as the Commodore 64. Now, the question is, are we at the right airport? Well, there's a way we can find out. So, we're going to bring this map up again. And if we scroll right over here, we have XY coordinates, okay? And we're at Lansing. Here it is. I lost, okay. We're looking for these coordinates, 17049, 16697. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into edit mode, which is escape, And we're going to look at our north and east position. So north 17052, and east is spot on 16697. So we are here at Lansing, even though we look at the map and whoops, where are ya? I went too far down south. It only shows one runway. Yeah. It's, in real life, it is two. One's paved, one's a grass. Oh, wait. That's not in real life. Sorry. And the later simulators, it does that. It doesn't do it on X-Plane or FSX, but it's funny. In some of the later simulators, it's got the grass runway cutting through at the midpoint, and that's not how the airport is. The real airport is not like that, and I learned that when I started getting into FSX and X-Plane. Maybe it was back when this came out, which was, I don't know what, 84 is when the Commodore 64 one came out, so this one was probably a little bit later than that. Or was it 82? I don't know. But, you know, maybe back then, maybe it did do that. I don't know. Anyhow, go ahead and... Ooh. That sound. The sound of the engine is really... really shaky. I just realized it looks like my head is floating. I have this floating head. Anyways, thanks for joining me on this flight. I hope it was enjoyable for you. I try to think of some things to talk about, because I know watching the scenery is not the most exciting thing in the world, but hopefully you're hanging out with me as if we're in the plane and we're just kind of, you know, talking and flying together. So leave comments for me. Love to hear from you. And that's it. Check out these other flights, and I'll see you on the next leg of our journey. And if you had fun watching this flight, then you might enjoy watching the same flight on one of these other simulators. It's a great way to compare the difference between them, but it's also a nice way to relive some old memories, or make some new ones. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around in the wild blue yonder.